There we go. We are live right now. Welcome, everybody, to the Patrick Carr Show. We are live here on, what is today, Thursday?
Yeah.
Wednesday? No, wait, today's Thursday?
Yeah, it's going back.
Let's go. It's Thursday, man. And we got a great show here for you today. A lot of very interesting topics. I know a little bit earlier this week, everybody, we had some topics that might have been a little bit dry. I'll be the first one to say it. Not today, though. We got some great ones for you, some great stories that we're going to be running down for you here today. And I think you're really going to love today's show. We're going to start it off with what happened last night, Anthony. For many of you, you watched the NBA Finals and perhaps were not even aware of the attention guy. And I say that because that's literally what the guy was screaming, attention, attention, and it was on his shirt. If you haven't heard the story, he stormed the game last night in game one of the NBA Finals. He was trying to get a selfie with Wemby. He filmed the whole thing himself, wearing a shirt that said attention. And get this, he has been banned from every single NBA arena for the rest of his life. There's also a second person involved. The charges per the county were disrupting a meeting or procession under Texas Penal Code 4205 and a criminal trespass. It looks like as well. They're both misdemeanors, and the trespass carries up to 180 days. All right. Oh, man, look at this. And here's the detail that changes the picture. The sheriff's office says he was a juvenile. He's a kid. This guy isn't going to jail at all. Hey, Griff. Okay, bud. I know we got a dog here. Come on, bud. Okay, you're being a little loud. He's just a little bit loud down there. I know, buddy. I know. All right, we're trying to get through. So what's crazy about this one, Anthony, is he's a minor. This guy's not going to jail. This kid is not going to jail. Now, I read some stories on this, and everybody has this story wrong about this kid. Everyone is saying, oh, I can't believe this guy did this, and he's banned from NBA arenas forever. Are you dumb? You know what that selfie would have been worth if he had captured it? Estimates say that it would have gotten a minimum of 50 million views. Minimum. That's one app. I put the number somewhere closer to 500 million views that he wouldn't have been able to get for that. And if you're talking about a 17-year-old kid who's going to get, I don't know, maybe a fine of a few $100s and not have to go to an NBA game, and you traded that for 500 million views and influence, you take the 500 million. The NBA needs to do something about this immediately, because I'm telling you right now, there are content creators out there that are looking at this and they're going, you mean the only thing that's going to happen to me if I'm 17 is I get a $500 fine and they release me? Why wouldn't you go ahead and give it a try? I'm not saying that you should. I'm not encouraging people to, but I'm saying unless the NBA does something about this, there are going to be a lot more people that are going to be trying this in the very near future. The NFL has come down and done better stuff about this. The NBA needs to follow quickly, or this is not going to stop. Attention is right. We live in an attention economy. This kid might be the smartest marketer there is in the country right now. Okay, put this in a different way, Anthony. Blue Collar Media Group, right? What would we pay to have 500 million views with our logo? A lot of money. If you had it, 500 million views, you'd have a lot of money that people are willing to pay for that. So what I guess I'm saying here is that while everybody wants to criticize this young man, okay, but if he was wearing a shirt that said Dos Equis beer, would everybody be criticizing Dos Equis, or would everyone be talking about Dos Equis today? They'd be talking about it and it'd be at the front of their mind. What he is showing right now is that we live in an attention economy, and it works when you get attention. And the penalty for this, it isn't going to sway anybody from doing this in another NBA game. I was shocked that he's a minor. He's got disruption of a meeting or procession along with criminal trespass. Okay. And he can't go to another NBA game. Darn. He's 17. He'll be 30 years old going to NBA games just fine. Stop, people.
Yeah, I've noticed too that I don't know if there's a word for it, but I know there's like, or maybe there is, like the clout chasing type of influencers where they will just break into a place or like wreak havoc on like a Target or something and just film it and get a lot of views. And then they just got a trespassing thing or maybe just banned from a store. But then the content, the views, the money that they get, it's worth it to them. Where it's like, oh, we can get all these views, and so
here we are talking about this right now, right? And people, I really wish individuals understood the kind of economy that we live in right now. When you're a business, attention is everything right now because there are so many businesses out there that are fighting for the same amount of attention. We only have so many thoughts, so many things that we can see in a day. And so as you go down the road, there's attention, billboards, the car next to you that's wrapped, the music that's on, that's trying to play something to you there. Every business is fighting for your attention right now. This young man just showed that if you're willing to take a little bit of a risk, the amount of attention that you can get versus the penalty or the downside to that attention is skewed heavy towards do it, take the risk. Given what I see right here, I think every NBA game, New York and in San Antonio, are going to have somebody that tries something like this. I don't see how you don't, because there's just far too much to gain right now with almost nothing to lose. You will have people that are going to be trying this in the very near future.
Yeah, imagine a company just pays him, I don't know, like $100,000
Sure.
and give him, put under the attention their logo or something, and then
that's such a great point, Anthony. Think about this, everyone. Imagine if I don't know why Corona, I don't know, like a Corona beer came to somebody and under the table went, hey, buddy, listen, under that, when you go out there on the shirt, rip off your shirt and it has a Corona right there on the front of it. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about Corona the next day. And what? It cost a kid a night in jail and he got $100,000. Let's just say that was the case. It cost somebody, they make $100,000, they spend a night in jail, and they don't get to go to an NBA game. And they're on the front page of every meme for the next, I don't know. They're a meme for the next year that everybody talks about. We're in an attention economy. To me, that makes sense.
Or imagine too, I could see this going to like a Super Bowl game or something where it's like, why spend, I don't know how much it is, like a $5 million for like 10 seconds of like a Super Bowl ad.
Yep.
Spend this money and then someone's going to be talking about it. It's going to become memeable and then people.
Absolutely. I think that what people have to understand is that this is not normally just like somebody running out on the court, right? We've seen that before, running out onto a field, streaking, that type of thing. What he did differently here is he had a goal in mind. He was trying to get to Wemby to go ahead and take a selfie, and he couldn't get over there, and he messed it all up. But what I'm trying to say is by filming it, by documenting it, he gave himself an opportunity at probably close to 500 million views. And that the reward to that far outweighed the consequences. And I think there's a lot of content creators who would take the exact same deal. They just hadn't thought of it before. Yep. This guy might be the most brilliant marketer in the country that nobody is talking about. I just got to say it. Or he's just a complete psychopath. One of the two. I get it. Okay. But anybody who's been with a marketing company knows the difference between the two isn't very far. All right. I think this is a very unique story. I'm really interested to see what happens the rest of the NBA finals to see if this is something that's going to continue right here. What we got?
Good. Just looking at something.
Oh, okay. Next story we've got is coming out of Sacramento, everybody. Now, this story is a very unique one. It happened on Saturday night. We're just getting to it right now, but we want to talk about it for a reason, okay? A gentleman, he got past a TSA checkpoint wearing a scarf over his face and latex gloves. I mean, or latex gloves. I mean, was that not something worth looking at? Like if somebody walks through TSA, if they're standing next to me with latex gloves, they're like, hey, someone want to check this dude? Maybe this is a guy you want to maybe do a pat down on. So inside of his carry-on, they found a homemade explosive device. It had a torch, a bunch of other things that we can say how it was zip tied together, blah, blah, blah. He had 5 cell phones. And as they went through this thing, the cell phones were linked to a timer. Yeah, they have said that this was actually another showed a message on the screen from an unknown number that said, quote, "We will be waiting for your call." Bomb techs tested the device. The powder and the fuse were viable, everybody. And officials say if it had detonated in the air, it would not have destroyed the plane, but could have been enough to actually blow a hole inside of the plane, which would have reduced cabin pressure to a point where it would have failed. This is a big deal. Okay. And so we look at this, and it looks like the person is invoked their rights and is not speaking. He was boarding an American Airlines flight in Charlotte. He told the officers he did not know what was in his bag, but like I said, he did just invoke his rights. The complainant says he had called the FBI 13 times this year, claiming that he was being threatened. He is charged federally with unlawful possession of explosive material in an airport. Folks, this is the reason we're talking about this story. How much do you think the max time is for getting a bomb onto an airplane? I think most of us would say, I don't know, minimum 20 years federally, right? 5 years max, Anthony.
That's insane.
Folks, I want everyone to think about this. There's a guy in Charlotte who attempted to board an American Airlines flight with a bomb. That individual was caught. He is now facing 5 years, not 50, not 20. He got the bomb past TSA in a bag, got onto a plane, and he was caught. This is a big deal. I don't know how exactly this is only 5 years that we're talking about here. It was inside of his carry-on. Agents found a homemade explosive device, a butane, but all this stuff that was there. What I'm interested in, can you find out where they found this? Like at what point, Anthony, they found this device? Was it when he was going through TSA?
Yeah, let me look.
He didn't. I want to make sure we're clear. He did not make it onto the plane, but
no, I think he was in TSA. So like, he was
okay. So let's rewind here for a minute because I want to make sure we're honest about this right here. The man is 49 years old. It's at Sacramento International Airport. All right. Tried to pass through TSA checkpoint wearing a scarf and latex gloves. Then the agents find this explosive device inside of his carry-on, and they discovered that, listen, it had all sorts of crap in this thing. Butane torch lighter capable of lighting it, a knife, other blades, scissors, zip ties, 5 cell phones. Every front camera was covered by painter's tape. One phone had a 15-minute timer that said ready to start. Another showed a message on the screen from an unknown number that said, quote, "We will be waiting for your call." And the bomb techs went ahead and tested the device, and they found that the powder and the fuse were viable. An unbelievable story right here. If you would have been able to get this through at 10,000 feet, it could have damaged the plane enough to where it would have had a loss of cabin pressure. He was boarding an American Airlines flight to Charlotte from Sacramento, like we had just said. He said that he didn't know the stuff was in his bag and that he had called the FBI 13 times this year alone, claiming that he was being threatened. I just cannot believe that he gets all the way through TSA trying to get this thing through in 5 years is what this guy is facing right now.
That's insane. It should be a lot more than that. And that's 5 years, the max, if he could get. He could even get a year, which is insane to me.
This to me, so far the theme of this show is the penalties and the price of doing this stuff does not match with what I thought it would be.
I feel like how the first guy had an attention on the shirt. I feel like this guy was screaming attention with his latex gloves going through TSA.
I mean, like, you gotta think. I mean, imagine you're sitting there in TSA, right? And you're like trying to get through, and you're like, okay, doing normal stuff, looking at your phone. The guy in front of you is like all scarfed up and stuff. I mean, we're in the middle of the summer right now, number one. The guy's wearing latex gloves as he goes through. I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? I mean, in fairness, if you're trying to draw attention to yourself, this guy did it. If you're wearing a scarf with latex gloves, everybody, it wasn't like I think he was trying to blend in. This seems like a guy who's not exactly right in the head. Like
if he was trying to do something like bad, he's just screaming for to look at me.
I'd be like sitting there going, TSA, this guy, you want to get on this guy? So it's middle of summer. He's wearing a scarf and he's in latex gloves. Anyone? Like, come on, someone over here, right?
I just find it super, super creepy, that anonymous text that he got. What was it?
Oh yeah, the creepy text was, quote, We will be waiting for your call.
That is, what the hell?
Come on, this like makes like some kind of episode out of, some drama TV show. This guy but then again, it is sort of weird that he did call the FBI 13 times saying his life was being threatened. He's saying it's not his. I don't know. Listen, I'm not jumping to judgment, but what I'm most surprised about here is 5 years. 5 years for attempting to bring him on a plane. Something I would have thought that we're looking at 25 to life on something like this, given the history in this country. Very surprised at the penalties right here.
Yeah.
All right. Next story it's coming from us out of San Diego, everybody. San Diego, if you will. We have a discount store. Get this called. You can't write this stuff. Okay. Something out of like Narcos right here, everybody, called Buy for Less. Snacks, cleaning supplies, all the normal stuff that you see inside of a strip mall, everyone. Now, under the storage room floor, there was a hatch that dropped down 55 feet. It dropped down into a tunnel that was almost 2,000 feet long, and it would border underneath to Tijuana. It had an hydraulic lift, electricity, ventilation, completely professional infrastructure. Federal agents said they had been on top of this for the last 6 months. They finally attracted enough vans. The canine units were used, traffic stops, counted packages. They built their case, and last Friday, they busted him. 2,200 pounds of white rice was seized, worth about $45 million. 4 men were charged in this case. By the way, profit margins for these guys were high. Sorry. I mean, the penalties worth the risk. We're talking about it this entire show. These guys, I mean, what are they going to get? I mean, they were going to make a lot of money. I mean, shoot. I don't know what to say about this. This is the 99th tunnel found in that district since 1993, which of course leads me to believe that's probably 1% of the tunnels found. But you may want to start, if you're looking for tunnels, Anthony, under stores called Buy for Less. Okay. I'll tell you where else they can look is, what are those mattress stores called?
Oh, Mattress Firm?
Mattress Firm. I'm telling you, if you got a mattress firm in this county, you may want to start there. All right. Nobody understands, Anthony, how Mattress Firm makes money. So it's got to be doing something like this. No one does. How many times have you ever seen people at a mattress firm? How many times have you talked to somebody and they were like, I'm just going to go to Mattress Firm today and look for some mattresses? How many times do you on the road and you see somebody with like a mattress strapped to their car? Once a month, maybe. But yet there's a Mattress Firm. It seems like multiple corners on every major street you can find one. There's nobody that's ever there. No one's ever in there, buying mattresses. I'm telling you, they may be running something like this, underground to Tijuana or something, because none of what Mattress Firm does makes sense.
They stuff all the money in the mattress, and that's where whenever you see a car with the mattress on it, they got some money, right?
They're smarter than we are. They're transporting right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you. One thing I do like about this is that we had United States, so we had surveillance from the FBI, and they actually busted these people. One of the things we talked about earlier this week is that there's all these boats that are being blown up all across the world right now by the United States military, drug running boats, speed boats. And they're doing that in the name of public safety, U.S. They're saying that these boats are dangerous and we're going to go blow them all up. Okay. Or you could do the policing this way. You find the people, you go ahead and you press charges against them. We get the case, you get the drugs, and you build something like we're supposed to. I like the way that this went down because we didn't just go in there and drop a bomb in the middle of San Diego and go, okay, well, it was justified that we do that because we'd already figured out what was going on. This is real policing. This is how it's supposed to be done. This is why I don't like what we've seen before in the past with these boats just being blown up with no due process, no idea who's on the boat, no idea what kind of drugs are on there. This, to me, makes a lot more sense right here. 99th tunnel found since 1993. Yeah, I'm sure they found all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out that Mattress Firm down the street.
Mattress Firm. Gosh, we deliver more than your mattress. So, I mean, Mattress Firm is undoubted. That's okay. So right now, if you're sitting there and Don't go to buy for less. I mean, that was easy. That was an easy target. Buy for less snacks and cleaning supplies. The name, Anthony, is buy and then the number 4 less. Snacks, comma, cleaning supplies, comma. Because everyone goes to a place for snacks and cleaning supplies.
Yeah, of course.
There was no red flag here at all. I mean, if I'm looking at a place and I'm like, strip mall, and it's about 2,000 feet from Tijuana. Okay. Snacks, and we're going for, let's go to buy for less to get some snacks and cleaning supplies, because that's normally where people go. But then right across the street is where it's really going down. Mattress Firm.
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
It's like Los Polos.
Yes.
Hermanos, whatever.
But I mean, it's still good. Buy for less, snacks and cleaning supplies. No one thought that's a little bit weird right there, because I don't normally go to the same store for my snacks and my cleaning supplies, and they're advertising it right there.
I just find it crazy how long that tunnel is. It's a long tunnel, and they're just like, yeah, we made it.
Yeah, 4 guys doing this thing. I mean, they're making some bank.
Oh yeah.
Again, I don't think the penalties. I don't think people understand. So we're going to talk about another case right here. We're going to our 4th story today. I really want to talk about this one. If y'all haven't heard, very unique case going on right now over in Volusia County. It started a couple months ago during spring break, but I feel like it's worth mentioning right now. It starts with the sheriff, Mike Chitwood. This guy is suing 2 women from Georgia over what they're calling a spring break invasion. You may have saw some of the pictures of it. There are 9 lawsuits total, counting local businesses. They're saying there was over $800,000 worth of damages. And so this guy got on television. He made a big stink about it, said he was really pissed. He's going to go after them for what they did. And he's going after specifically 2 women who he says organized the event and that he believes is the cause of all of this damage. Now, I want people to understand the difference right here and how this works. Because when I first saw how angry this guy was and that he's going to go, the sheriff is saying he's going to civilly go after him and criminally go after him if he can, I thought to myself, I'm like, something doesn't seem right here. As somebody who's in the marketing profession, hold on, were these women actually responsible for the damage? Or were they promoting an event and then people were stupid at the event, and those people are the ones who are responsible for the damage? And I wanted to understand the distinction because I think it's important, Anthony, for our audience to understand the distinction as well. Let's explore. I want to understand how this works, everybody, okay? There is somebody who causes the event to happen and somebody who promotes the event. Let's understand. If let's say I decide I want to make an announcement right now, and I go, everybody go to Daytona Beach on Friday at 9 p.m. There's going to be a good time that's going to be there. And a bunch of people show up that are strangers. A bunch of people do bad things. Some people do good things. Damage happens, blah, blah, blah. I am not responsible for what those individuals did. I promoted something. I said, go out there and just have a good time. Whatever it is, I said, just show up there. Cool. Or let's just say I hire myself a DJ. I put some ropes around an area, charge $20 to get in. I sell drinks. I play loud music. I tell the DJ what music to play. That's a different story. That's conduct. And conduct can be punished. So you have a difference right here of, are these people promoting, or are they actually responsible for what happens at the event? The interesting part about this is that one of the individuals they are charging was never even there. Both women are from Georgia. One was present at the event and the other one was not. And so I think we're at a very dangerous point right here. This is not something that the Florida courts have sided very often with when it comes to the government. We saw in the case with Meta, they decided to side with them, that, hey, they have freedom. And just recently over in Volusia County, they lost a case having to do with panhandlers, that there was freedom of speech right there. I don't think that this is one that they're going to win in Volusia. I believe these women have a right to promote an event, and the things that happen at that event are 100% the responsibility of the people that were there. If this sheriff does not like that, arrest the people who do the damage. I don't believe this is a good precedent to begin arresting people who promote events. Because of this reason, where does it stop? Does it stop at the promoter? But then what about the people that were at the event? What if they brought food? Now, am I part of the promotion of this event, so I'm now responsible? If I was the DJ that was there and I just randomly showed up, and the person who promotes it, are they responsible for what the DJ does? If I put out a post on social media and ask people to come to someplace and they do bad things, it is not my fault that they did bad things. I have a freedom to be able to do that. I understand that this sheriff does not like what happened in his county, but to get out there and go, I'm going to go after these people is not the way to do this. Now, he did point out that even if the law does not allow it, he said he wanted to change the law. That's a very dangerous precedent for a sheriff to say. All right. Your job is to enforce the laws that we have. Now, you may disagree with what these people did and how they acted, but the fact is, in my opinion, personally, we need to very, very closely guard the First Amendment. It's the First Amendment for a reason. All right. And I think I've got it wrong. Is it first or second? First. So I'm sorry. My bad. But we need to guard that very closely. All right. And this to me is scary because when I see counties that are going after people after the fact, it can set a precedent for others that can have a waterfall effect. And while I do understand on the surface, if anybody watches videos of what happened, that you would be like, man, I want somebody to be held accountable to this. And I understand where the sheriff is coming from, the anger that he has. But on the same time, we must guard the First Amendment very closely. All right? My opinion.
I don't know. I feel it depends on how it was promoted. Personally, if it was promoted in a sense like, oh, it's going to be a party.
It was.
Nothing about like being a riot or inciting a riot or anything like that.
I think it was pretty much shown that it was going to be like crazy times. I mean, if we look at, in fairness, I remember this morning I was looking at some of the posts, like the banners, the posters, the promotion material. It looked like it was going to be a bash. Like it did not look like it was going to be not destroying buildings, but like from what I could see, it looked like this was planned to be a party. Like you were showing up there to go crazy. Were you showing up there to damage almost $1 million worth of buildings? No, I don't think so. Everything that I read showed that they were promoting a big party. That to me is where the line is. Now, what the city is saying or what the county is saying is that they actually notified one of the women and let them know that you need permits for this. She had disagreed and said, I don't need permits, but she was made aware of by the county that they were aware of the event and that she needed permits as such. So the county is claiming that she knew that her conduct was going to elicit activity that could damage buildings and property, and therefore she should be held liable for it. I don't like that. And I just think that what we have to do is guard that very carefully between somebody promoting an event and then somebody telling people to go out there and start problems and start trouble. Especially when one of them wasn't even there. They were in Georgia. Good luck on that case. Now, here's the part nobody's talking about, Anthony, with this one. This is what I really wanted to cover, all right? I don't know how else to say this. There's a criminal defense attorney named Aaron Delgado over there. This guy is a criminal defense attorney in Volusia County. His office was damaged by the rioters. He has decided that he is teaming up with the sheriff's office for this lawsuit and is the one who has filed the lawsuit against the two women. Imagine if this guy is your criminal defense attorney right now. No. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Aaron Delgado, you basically just shot yourself in the foot when it comes to your own practice. Because if I'm going to tell you, if I'm in trouble, I don't want the guy who's all buddy with the sheriff's office. I want the guy who's going to go after defend my rights. You want to tell me? For me personally, I like a criminal defense attorney who's got a bone to pick. I like a guy who says, you know what? I'm going to give you such zealous representation because I don't like what they do over there and I don't like what they did to you. But when you have a guy who just says, oh, you know what? I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I'm teaming up with the very team that I'm supposed to be fighting for your rights against. But then what? The meeting after you is going to be with the sheriff so that I can defend his case or I can prosecute his case? I mean, I don't know anybody that would hire this attorney for criminal defense right now. And I understand that you got your building that was damaged. Go settle your own case. You don't got to team up with the sheriff's office. You don't have to team up with them in the city and the county. If you're a criminal defense attorney, you have, in my opinion, a real conflict of interest. And if I was your client, I would not be happy about that. I wouldn't. This guy, in my opinion, not a good career move if you're Aaron Delgado. Yeah, you made the news. Good for you. You sounded like you're backing up the city, but your job is to be a criminal defense attorney. Oh, okay. Doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I kind of like what the sheriff office is doing, in my opinion, because you know what? I feel like I can see that happening here in Orlando, where it's like, you know what, we got to clean up a little bit of this takeover things and stuff. And so, depending on how the promoter promoted it, if it was saying incenting things or like destroying things or maybe taking things a little too far, then, you know, I want someone, a sheriff or someone to be like, we're cracking down on this. If you promote something like this, we're not going to have this in our city. We're not going to have this. And we're going to take this down and try to incent something for future things. It's like, this isn't happening in our city. So
I can see where you're coming from on this. And I'm not saying that that this stuff should be allowed to continue. I think we're saying something similar, but I would look at it this way. I think it's the responsibility of the sheriff's office, since they knew the event was going to happen, which they obviously did because they asked her to get permits for the event. Then I would say that it's the responsibility to stop it from happening. You knew what was going to go down. In your mind, they did. And so all they had to do was make sure they had enough staff there to stop this from happening. Now, if they didn't, and we were overmanned, overmatched, too many people, it didn't matter what we did, that's one thing. But I don't think that's what happened here. I think they thought something bad could happen. Okay, it might get a little bit out of control. They weren't prepared for the sheer numbers of what happened, because I've seen the videos and they're abysmal. I mean, it's terrible what happened. But you also have to take responsibility for how you look at events and how you respond to them. It got to a point where it was out of control. At any time during that process, the sheriff's office could have stepped in and stopped it. Now, given that it did get out of control and given that the property was damaged, and it's my opinion that those people should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But to sit there and go, well, we had no idea, it's all the person's fault who promoted it, there has to be an onus that also falls in the sheriff's office to stop it from getting to that level. That's my opinion only.
That's a good point.
And as far as Orlando goes, and I agree, I think that where I look at here for Orlando is, let's just play this out. If there was somebody that said, hey, we are going to take over downtown Orlando, and I was in charge of downtown Orlando, I'm going to make sure no one's taking over a city. How do you do that? Well, you have people in place to make sure this is not happening. You make sure that people are not loitering, that they're not going to gather. You keep processes moving. And that's part of the reason downtown has suffered like it has, is because the loitering is allowed. And it's a broken windows theory. We've talked about it many times in the show. Yeah. When you allow small things in a city to go, they turn into bigger things. And in my opinion, that's probably what happened right here over in Daytona. They saw a small party and they go, okay, it won't get that much bigger. And then it became bigger and bigger until they didn't have enough resources to be able to control it. And then it got out of control. And if that's the case, there has to be a responsibility on the sheriff's office, not just the individuals who promoted the event. And you have to go out there and catch the people that did the damage. You can be angry all you want with the promoters, but at the end, there are people that are responsible for that damage, and those people deserve to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. There's a real fine line right there I think we have to watch. And I say this because I've said it before in the show. Just because I don't like an activity doesn't mean that I believe it should be illegal. Because there's always going to be things we don't like, all right? And we can't just say that things we don't like should be illegal. We have to look at it and go, okay, that's that person, all right? That's them. And we need to be very careful about that. So this one's going to be very interesting to see how it works out. The city they're batting 0 for 2 right now when it comes to lawsuits. I don't think they're going to win this one at all. Right now, they haven't responded to the claim, or at least it hasn't been documented if they have. So we'll see the suit. They haven't responded to the suit, I should say. So we'll see if they do and how this one plays out. Our last story of the day, everybody, is podcasting. We're doing one right here, but would you be surprised to understand, or would you be surprised to know that in 2020, there were over 1.1 new podcasts launch? How many think this year? They're estimating less than 168,000. The numbers are absolutely incredible. And so what's happening is that we're living in a consumer economy. We're living in an economy, everybody, where people want more content. They want to consume more, look at their phone more, listen to more podcasts than ever, but nobody is creating them. And so for me, this is such an incredible opportunity that's in front of businesses, everything. When I dug into this, I was shocked to learn that Joe Rogan is no longer the top podcast in America. Oh, yeah. So here we are in a place. Rewind to 2020. Joe Rogan is the guy, the only guy, right, in the podcast world. I mean, it's such a new thing at that time. Nobody could touch him. Everybody starts creating podcasts after 2020 and COVID. And then people realize it's really, really difficult to do. And the numbers drop off a cliff now, less than 20% of what they were back in 2020. And then what happens is that because less people, now you have more people wanting to consume, less people creating over here. And you start to get this almost like a mob mentality that follow these podcasts. And because of it, Joe Rogan got knocked off by no other than Sean Ryan. I know, I wouldn't have thought so either. But then again, I have watched the Sean Ryan podcast, and he is a great interviewer. He got a beautiful set. He lets the people speak, and he doesn't interrupt them. He's extremely talented with his questions and his demeanor. I'm a very big fan of his podcast and his guests. He seems to really care about the topics that come onto his show. I'm really not surprised that he's moved into the number one spot. But when I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, nobody's creating, everybody's consuming, but I think that most people believe there's podcasts starting up all the time. There's no way I should do one for myself because there's no way that people are going to listen. When in reality, back in 2020, when everybody was creating, they thought they were the only one. They were on top of it. Everybody was doing it at that time. But now, nobody's creating anymore. It's a huge opportunity that businesses have right now. And as you turn on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you consume content, you've got to think you probably watch or listen to the same thing all the time. And there's a lot of people who do that. We have more people that are following this show, and we're very happy about that. But part of that is because there's less competition right now for attention in the podcast space than there's ever been. And so while there's a lot of people out there that are content creators, nobody wants to actually spend the time to do long form content. And with long form content comes a lot more errors that can be made. You get a lot more exposure, but it also exposes part of your personality and who you are that most people want no part of. And so for me, the surprising part about this story is two things. Number one, nobody is creating podcasts anymore. And number two, Joe Rogan is even the top dog. Sean Ryan is now the top dog in the podcast space. And that to me is a huge deal. I didn't think there was going to be a time where Joe Rogan was not number one. I saw where Caller Daddy kind of went number one there for a little bit. But as far as being like the person, the guy, I never thought he'd be knocked off. And here it is. Another guy knocks him off in an interview style format. And very surprised with this one.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's, I was surprised with the stats too. It's just so many like just drop off and not making as many podcasts anymore. I
was looking for him right here. We had him pulled up before when it came to the numbers, but it was absolutely crazy. Like it went from like, folks, if you look at the graph, we have to bring it back up. It was like 1.1 million in 2020. And then it just like way down to here in 2026 for number of new podcasts. No one wants to make one. And I think it's because honestly, man, it's not easy.
Yeah.
We do a show right here every day, 5 days a week, and it's live. And it's not easy to do. To come up with the topics, to actually make it somewhat interesting that people would want to listen to. I mean, it's hard. No, I don't think then you edit it all.
Yeah.
And do that. It's not just like you just turn on a mic and all of a sudden you just talk and people will listen. You actually have to put in work for it. And I think what people realized back in 2020, 2021 is this is a lot harder than Joe Rogan makes it look. And people thought that by looking at, oh, he just talks to people. This is easy. I'll just talk to people, put a camera on, record it, and I'll put it out there and people are going to love it. They don't understand how much thought and care, how much research has to go into making a show for 2 hours of talking to somebody and make it interesting. And we just do a monologue here for 45 minutes to an hour, and we have to research it probably a combined hour and a half a day. And then you're doing your stuff on your end. It is extremely difficult. It's a job in and of itself, one that we actually really enjoy around here. But very surprised at the numbers on this one as Sean Ryan becomes the #1 podcast that there is in America.
Yeah, and then even just for us, even besides after doing the research, just even starting it, takes us about like half an hour almost sometimes, just turning on the gear, the lights, getting the audio working, getting
it's brutal.
The stream links.
Yeah, like we have to do stream links to get this thing working. We have to get the lights.
Still can't even figure out YouTube.
YouTube. So sorry to YouTube, but we do put it over there unedited over to YouTube. I want people to know. And that's the reason we do this, man, live. Like people don't understand. Like we do this show live so that you actually get an authentic look at who I am and what we research. That way I'm not editing anything. I'm not that guy hiding behind a bunch of edits that you make and make me sound like, I don't know, like I always cut this part out, cut that one out, cut this. No, you want to watch what I believe in? Come here and watch. That's real. That's authentic right there. And there's not a lot of shows like this. People can criticize online when we talk about things like UPS or, we talk about a topic that we may not be pros at, but we're willing to put our name behind it. And not a lot of people are willing to do that these days. Everybody wants to hide behind, I don't know, the edits. They want to hide behind short form content. When we decided that we were going to do this, I said, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do long form content. We're going to do it live. So we hold ourselves accountable to everybody. And no one's going to be able to look at us and go, you know what? Those guys, man, what do they do? Just look at a teleprompter and they come up with these short form pieces of reels. This guy sucks. At least if somebody's not going to like me, Anthony, they're not going to like me for who I really am. And I talk about that all the time. If you be who you are, 50% of the people ain't going to like you anyway. So you might as well not like you for the real you, not the fake you. Because imagine if somebody walked up to you and you'd made it and they said, man, I'm not a big fan of yours because of this, this, and this. And you thought to yourself, I don't even believe in those things. And then you just think, man, if you actually knew who I really was, you probably would like me. I never wanted to be a part of a show like that. That's why we don't have any sponsors for this show. We take zero money. I make no money from doing this, Anthony. Zero, as you know. I run a business, but I do this because we have fun doing it. And we actually think that it will provide entertainment to people that hopefully makes your day just a little bit better. And if nothing else, it gives you a reason to get onto your phone and get angry with me and type me a really nasty message or whatever else. And cool. Good for you, man. I hope it makes your day a little bit more entertaining then, because that's what we're trying to do here. But yeah, nothing here. So I could say a lot of it here surprises me when it comes to the numbers. And then, of course, the Sean Ryan thing taking over Joe Rogan. Big deal that I see right there. That's a wrap on our show today. It's a little bit later. Anthony still has to edit all this stuff, so I know you're not happy. We've got a podcast hopefully coming out tomorrow. That podcast will be with Maddie. We'll be talking about what he has seen downtown in Orlando, how that landscape has changed, and it's just an amazing hour of talking to him. So we get a real unfiltered look at what a small business owner has had to deal with in downtown Orlando. Looking forward to bringing that one to you here shortly. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you for our favorite episode of the week tomorrow, Friday morning, afternoon, whenever we can get to it. But we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks so much.